Hey guys, so today we're going to be working on this 1992 Mercury 15 horsepower 2-stroke. Basically the story behind this one is that the drive shaft got seized in the lower unit, therefore the whole lower unit was trash. So what I have to do is I got a parts engine that's over there. They're both short shafts, so I'm going to steal the drive shaft from that and put it on this one. I'm also going to assemble a whole lower unit, do water pump, so you guys can see that. And then this engine, I believe it's a good runner. I'm going to do spark and compression on it. After that, we'll probably just do a carb cleaning. Check into the cowling. It's pretty clean. And then this is the parts engine. As you can see, the issue with this engine is the mounting bracket is completely snapped off, and it's also spray painted, so it's a parts engine. I was told that this engine does run though, so I'll probably do a compression and a spark test on this one, and then I'll show you guys how to remove this power head, and then we'll do a carb cleaning, and we'll just keep this aside to have a good power head, if it's a good power head. But we're going to steal the drive shaft from this and install it on this engine because they're the same vintage. This is also a 15, that's a 15. So like any engines from like late 80s to early 2000s, their drive shafts and stuff should match up. So yeah, if you guys are enjoying my channel and you guys want to see more of these engines being worked on, just smash the like button down below, subscribe and comment please. Let me know what you guys want to keep seeing in the future. And as always, thank you guys for watching the video. Okay guys, so now we're going to do a spark and compression on this 15 Mercury, see if it's worth rebuilding. So let's get it on the stand and let's do a spark and compression test and let's see what the outcome is. Okay guys, so next we're going to do a compression check and see how healthy the engine is. Right now we want to see probably like right around above 100 pounds. Has to be within 10%. If it's above 100 pounds, then we're good. If it's at 100 pounds, we're okay. So let's just do a compression check and see what we get. So we had 105 in each cylinder, so that's a pretty healthy engine for this year. So next we're going to do a spark test and see what we get. Okay, so now that we got the spark tester all hooked up, we're going to see if we have spark between these two gaps, and if we do, then we have a good healthy engine, and all we have to worry about is installing the lower unit and cleaning the fuel system. So let's see if this motor has spark. And the motor does have spark. I don't know if you guys can see it on the camera. Let's see if I can. You can see that large spark. So this motor is a good healthy engine. So it has good compression and good spark. That's the two main things that you really want to have with these kind of engines. So next, all we have to worry about is the fuel system and installing the lower unit and making sure all that's going good. So let's do that now. Okay guys, so next thing that we're going to do is remove this lower unit, pull the drive shaft, and to start assembling the lower unit for this engine. I have the rest of the lower unit right here. You can see that the shifter and the drive shaft is not in there, so I'm going to show you guys how to do that. So once we get that all assembled, we'll install it with a new impeller onto this engine, and then next we'll do the carburetor, and after that we'll test run it. So let's get right into it. Okay guys, so I got this lower unit off and on the stand, just something so you guys can see. This looks like somebody put like a silicone on this lower unit. so it's kind of interesting. But basically I'm just going to pop all these bolts out, get rid of the whole water pump, everything, and pull this, and then I'll pull the drive shaft out, and I'll kind of cut to me just kind of rebuilding the new Euro unit, and that way I can show you guys of actually how to rebuild it. But right now I'm just going to strip it and get the drive shaft out, and then probably pull the shift linkage out too, just to have it for the future. But let's do that right now. Okay guys, so I got the new Gearcase on the stand. It's all ready to be reassembled with the shift rod and a new water pump impeller. So first thing is you're going to put this base gasket, you're going to line it up on here. It only goes on one way, so you can't mess it up. Now I did already assemble this whole unit. Basically what I did is I popped this off the old lower unit I had. I put a new seal in it, which is at the base. After that, you put a new seal in here for the shift rod, right here. Don't lose this keeper. There's a little keeper, like an E-clip. Yeah, and then there's already the seal inside. So now all you have to do is line it up. Once you click it in, should be in neutral now, which I am. If you spin the prop shaft, you're in neutral. Again, just check. Should be in neutral by spinning the prop shaft, which I am. What we want to do here now is put this front screw in. Also, you just want to make sure you're lined up with this gasket holes, which I am. These are 10 mil. Okay guys, once you got the shift linkage inside, we got this bolt tightened down. What we can do now is take the shift linkage and just push down. Now if you spin the prop shaft, it should be in neutral. From this point, we can then take the drive shaft. I put a little bit of oil at the end of the splines. You're going to insert it in to lock skin. Now when you rotate this, the prop shaft should not spin. But when we take it, and if you spin the prop shaft at the same time as pushing down, you're in reverse. Now, your reverse gear should be locked by spinning the prop shaft. You shouldn't be able to spin it. But if you take the drive shaft and spin it clockwise, the prop shaft should start spinning, which it is right now. Now you can do the same thing for both forward, neutral, and reverse. So if we take the shift linkage, oh, I jumped to forward, that's okay. But again, if you spin the prop shaft, it should be locked. If you spin the drive shaft clockwise, the prop shaft should be spinning. Should be, watch, it is. And if you try to spin it, it's locked in the gear. Now if you take the shift linkage, just be gentle by pushing it in. Right there should be neutral. Now I can spin the prop shaft. As you guys can see, I can spin the prop shaft. When I spin the drive shaft, nothing should be happening. So now that we got that all settled, we're gonna do the water pump now. Okay, so now we're gonna do the water impeller. So the first thing I did is I put a new base gasket down. Make sure the pins line up. You can only go on one way. Next will be you install the faceplate. Same thing, only goes on one way. Shift linkage, you might want to spin on you a little bit. Just when you get it down, just spin it back to where it was. Again, line up the pins. I always like to put just a tiniest bit of grease. I apply a small layer of grease around the base. Not a lot, it's literally the smallest amount you can think of. Next, you install one of these retainer washers. So let that touch the base. Then you get your woodruff key. Again, I like to just put the smallest dab of grease on the bottom of the woodruff key. And that gets inserted onto this tab. Shouldn't move. Okay, at this point we can install the water pump impeller. As you guys know, there is that cutout right there where the woodruff key slides into. Alright, so now it's locked in. I'm doing this in neutral. So now we got the water pump in. Next, just put a small dab of grease in here as well. This is just to prevent a dry startup right when the water pump starts. Because the first time we don't want this water pump to be started dry. So just the smallest amount of grease in the housing will do just fine. But before we do that, there is another washer we have to put on. So slide out right on top of the water pump. And now we're ready to install the housing. So slide it over. Okay. Once you get to this point, you just take the drive shaft, spin it clockwise at the same time as you are pushing down. And we'll slide. And it will slide in. Okay, at this point, you want to put all the new screws back in. Guys, now that I've got the housing, I'm just going to check myself one more time. I'm going to pull up on the shifter. I should be in gear, which I am. If I come down, I'm in neutral. By spinning the prop shaft, and I spin the prop shaft at the same time. I should be in reverse. I'm locked in. Can't spin the prop shaft. So now I am ready to reassemble. So I'm ready to reassemble the lower unit now. I just put it forward because I have the engine set to forward. So now that we're ready to assemble, I'm just gonna put a little dab of grease. Put a little grease on the drive shaft. Put the remainder on the drive shaft. I also like to put a little bit on the water pickup, just to make it slide a little bit easier. And I just put the remainder that's on my finger on the drive shaft or the shift shaft, doesn't matter. Alright guys, so now that we got this gear case all together, let's throw it back up into the engine and see if the engine can shift. And then after that we'll run it and see if the water pump pumps. So let's get right into it. Okay guys, so we got the lower unit all assembled now. What we're going to do next is check if the engine actually shifts in the proper gears. So how I'm going to do that is by I'm going to be spinning the prop shaft as I'm shifting the engine. Now I don't recommend you doing this a lot. You can cause a lot of wear on the engine, on the cables binding and stuff like that. But for test purposes, I'm going to do it. But if you own one of these engines, don't be doing this. Just put it in the tank and check it. But since I put this all together, I'm going to check it before I try to run it. So right now, you can see that the engine is in neutral. So as I'm shifting this, moving this, that's forward. So you can see I'm locked into gear. And then I'm in neutral as I shift it. And as I'm spinning it, as I'm pushing it, you hear a click. Now I am in reverse. So it locks in reverse. And then as if I come back, I am in neutral. So now what we can do now is we're going to take off the carburetor and see what's going on in there, and after that we'll test run the engine. So let's do that right now. Guys, I just wanted to also show you guys how the cowling turned out from my last video. It turned out really nice. Good little clamps at it. So good on the other side. If you guys want to see me do how to do the cowlings, drop a like and a comment down, and I'll do some in the future, because it is a pretty in-depth process. I did repaint the whole cowling, and even to put these vinyl stickers can be a little tricky, but just figured I'd show you guys how it turned out. But let's kind of jump right back into the other 15 horsepower, and let's see what we can do with that one. Okay guys, so now we're going to remove this carburetor. Just again, to remove these, you want to pop off all the hoses. So there's this one right here, and then there's a tiny one underneath the carburetor. And then you want to pop this linkage, pop the 2 screws in the front, pull the air box, and then it's just these 2 nuts on each side, and then you can pull the whole carburetor out. So we're going to pull that out right now, and then we're going to rebuild the carburetor. Okay guys, so I got the carburetor off. I'm going to do a full rebuild on this, but I'm not going to show you guys the whole steps of me doing it. If you guys want to see a separate video of me rebuilding these carbs step by step, just let me know. So we're going to rebuild it, reinstall it, and then we're going to fire up the engine and see if it runs. So let's get right into it. Okay guys, so now that we've got the carburetor all rebuilt, I'm going to reinstall it. I didn't find anything too bad with the carburetor. There was a little bit of stuff in the bowl, but nothing too much. So I just put new gaskets in. So I'm going to put it back on the engine, and then we're going to fire up the engine and see if it runs. Okay guys, so now I'm going to put the carburetor back on. Kind of want to show you guys how to put these on without having to remove this whole assembly and this top assembly. So all you have to do is first connect is this little hose down here. What you want to do then is take the carburetor, come in sideways, put this first ear in, pull the throttle arm back, and then what you do is take it, twist the carburetor until it reaches the other hole, and then it slides on. And then at this point you just take this assembly, there's a little hole underneath, pull it out a little bit, and it cups right underneath the carburetor. So that's the easiest way to do these carburetors. If you guys want more details of how to do these, just drop a like and comment down below, and I can show you guys a step-by-step of how to do this. So now I'm gonna put this back together, and then we're gonna run the engine. Okay guys, so we got the carburetor all back on. We got the engine in the tank, so we're about to run it. So first what you want to do is hook up a gas tank, prime up the system, check for any leaks. Next thing you want to do is turn in this knob all the way in, pull it twice, and then you're ready to start the engine. What this is doing is, as you're twisting this in, it advances the timing. I talked about this before. So this is gonna be my first time running this engine, so we're gonna see how it runs. I'm gonna do some adjustments. I'll talk about more once I actually get the engine dialed in. I'll kind of be talking about like why I'm doing what I'm doing. So let's just kind of start up the engine, see if it'll fire it up, and let's do some adjustments if need be. The engine started on the first pull. I have the carburetor set to 1.5 turns out right now. That's what the factory calls for, but you may still have to adjust it, even if the factory setting is 1.5 turns. So right now it's running pretty good. I'm just gonna let it run for a second, see if it stalls or anything. And we'll kind of just do some adjustments. It sounds a little faster right now, so I might adjust just the throttle and the idle speed on the throttle arm, which is located on the side of the carburetor, which is actually going to be this screw. I don't know if you guys can hear the change, the difference. So like right there, you hear it speeding up. I'm gonna bring it down. See, it's pretty good right there. See, it's pumping water really nicely. Next thing I'm going to do, I'm going to shift into gear, into forward. Now it's in forward, so if I see the water start moving. This is kind of when you want to start adjusting the idle screw, which is located in this hole. You want to do it in gear. So you hear the engine slow down, that's 1.25. The engine on the dock. The way I like to adjust them is you turn them in just when you start to hear a die, you come off just a little bit. It's usually where they like to idle. And then when I'm on the lake, I'll actually adjust this a little bit more, depending on how fast this motor is moving in the water. It does sound kind of fast in gear. Not bad there. Shift it back into neutral. What I'm doing there is to see if the engine will stall. Now I'm just going to shift it into all the gears. So this is forward. I do have the prop off, so that's why more water's not picking up. That's neutral. That's reverse. See the water pick up a little bit. And then back to neutral. Yeah, the engine sounds pretty good right there. At this point, what you want to do then is, again, look around the carburetor. See if you see any leaks, and I see nothing. Kind of look around the whole engine. Still pumping very nicely. This is the thermostat. It's not overheating. Yeah, the engine's running pretty good. I'll probably let it sit here and idle for probably about 10 minutes and see if the engine shuts off. So once that's done, we'll come back. Okay guys, so it's been running for over 10 minutes now. Still hasn't shut off. I put it in gear and out of gear multiple times. So I can say this is a good running motor now. It pumps perfect. So what I'm going to do now is do a lake test on this motor. The reason I do lake test is because when you actually put a load on the engine, it's a little bit different. Adjustments need to be different. Also, just to figure out where exactly this engine should be idling, just to be it easier for people to dock. So yeah, next thing I'm going to do is do a lake test, and I'm going to guys show you how to do adjustments on the lake. So let's do that right now. So guys, if you did want to slow down your idle, you felt like if you're moving too fast to coming in and docking, all you would have to do is to adjust this screw right here. Just come out and your engine should slow down in idle speed. Also, just remember, the more you increase this, the faster the RPMs, and the more you come back, the less than the RPMs there is. So two things you can always check for is right here first. If it's still too fast, just come out on the screw a little bit, and the idle should come down. So yeah. Okay guys, so I've been out here for a while now. The engine's running perfect. I didn't have to adjust the idle at all. If you guys did need to, you just adjust that screw or decrease this. So let's see. It just starts in the first pull every time. So what I was talking about, so when I do that, it decreases it. Even when you go in gear, you will move slower compared to you get the engine picking up. So you're moving faster. So just go there if it's getting hard to dock boats for you, and that'll fix your problem. So let's see how it takes off. Come back down to idle, your engine's just gonna die on you. So if I come back to idle, I'm idling again. The engine should not die. Increase the RPMs a little bit. I go into neutral, where the engine's faster. Kind of like when I'm running these, so this is the max. Hear the engine speed up. Right around those RPMs is like where I like to run them. When you're running at full RPMs, if you do increase this though, you will maybe sometimes pick up a little bit more. With 2 people on my boat's 14 foot V-hole, it probably does about 12, 13 miles an hour, which is actually pretty good for 2 of us being on this boat. So if I go into reverse now, again, your engine should not die on you. Come back to neutral, come back to forward, see what happens when I increase the RPMs and go full throttle. Those 2 strokes will die when you're coming down on RPMs. Neutral. Kill switch works. Now at this point you shouldn't have to do the whole starting procedure. You only have to do that when the engine is cold. So right now the engine should start on the first pull, which it does. So yeah guys, so now all we have to do for this engine is detail it, and this engine is done. So if you guys enjoyed the video, please like and comment down below. If you'd like to see anything more, please let me know, and thank you guys for watching.